All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about René Guénon today. Now, this is a man who was, without a doubt, one of the 20th century's most profound and, frankly, most mysterious critics of the modern world. His work is like this crystal clear map to a universal spiritual truth. But, and this is a big but, there's a secret at the heart of his own life that kind of changes how you see everything he ever wrote. You know, Guénon always insisted that his work wasn't about him. He'd say, I'm just a messenger, a channel for these timeless, traditional ideas. But the path he chose for himself in private? Well, that holds the key. It's a secret that completely reframes this quote and his entire life's mission. So this is where we hit this central paradox of René Guénon. On the one hand, you've got this public intellectual, this grand synthesizer, who could connect the dots between all the world's religions. But on the other hand, you have the private man, a deeply committed initiate of just one specific path. Just look at this timeline. It's a wild ride. He starts out in a traditional French Catholic family, right? Then he dives headfirst into the, let's say, intense occult and Masonic scene in Paris. From there, he emerges as this towering intellectual figure, using ancient Hindu philosophy to diagnose all the problems with the West. And then, in 1930, he does something almost nobody saw coming. He moves to Cairo and is secretly initiated into a Sufi order. Publicly, he's a universalist. Privately, he's a committed Muslim. And that's the big question, isn't it? That's the mystery we're going to unravel in this explainer. How does that make any sense? I mean, was he a hypocrite? Or was there some deeper logic, some hidden principle at play that most of us just miss? Answering this question is the absolute key to understanding his entire project. Okay, so to get why he made that choice, we first have to understand the problem he was trying to solve. You see, Guénon saw himself as a kind of spiritual doctor, and he believed the modern world was, well, terminally ill. And his diagnosis? We are living in what he called the reign of quantity. And the critical thing to get here is that this isn't just about spreadsheets and data. For Guénon, the reign of quantity is a deep spiritual sickness. It's a worldview that flattens reality, reducing everything to what can be measured, weighed, and counted. We've become so obsessed with information that we've forgotten what wisdom even is. We have all the data in the world, but we've lost the truth. Think about it like this. In a traditional world, a craftsman puts his soul, his unique skill into making something one of a kind. In our world, a machine just churns out millions of identical products. A forest, which was once seen as a sacred place, is now just a resource, just board feet of lumber. And a human being? No longer a soul with limitless potential, but a number, a demographic, a statistic to be managed. So what happens when you live under this reign of quantity? What's the ultimate price? For Guénon, it was absolutely catastrophic. It meant we severed our connection to tradition. And yeah, he'd want that with a capital T. He saw tradition as the living, breathing carrier of essential, divine wisdom, something passed down through the ages. You see, he didn't buy into our modern idea of history as a straight line of progress. Not at all. He saw it as a great cycle. And borrowing from Hindu cosmology, he argued that we are now living in the final, darkest age, the Kali Yuga. It's an era defined by this slide into materialism, a slow forgetting of where we came from spiritually that ends in the total chaos and confusion of modern life. And this is the fallout from that loss. When a civilization cuts its roots, a huge spiritual void just opens up right in the middle of everything. We start chasing this illusion of progress, thinking that just because we're moving faster, we're actually going somewhere meaningful. It leaves us feeling totally rootless, disconnected. Reality itself gets flattened into pure materialism, and even our words like truth and spirit, get emptied of their real meaning. So if the modern world is a locked room, how do you get out? Guénon's answer wasn't to argue with the guards or, try to redecorate the prison cell. No. His solution was to find a completely different exit, a secret door he called initiation. Now, we got to be super clear here. For Guénon, initiation isn't just about reading a few books or joining a new club. It is a real, tangible, spiritual event.
Step 1, you have to affiliate with a legitimate, living tradition that has an unbroken chain going back centuries. Step 2, you receive what he calls a virtual initiation. A spiritual seed is literally planted within you. But that's just the beginning. Step 3 is the hardest part, effective realization. That's the deep, personal, inner work you have to do to make that seed of potential actually grow into real knowledge.
And to really hammer this point home, he drew a very sharp line between the initiate and the mystic. A mystic's path is often more passive. They might pray and wait for spiritual states to come to them. It's like seeing the beautiful reflection of the sun in the water. But the initiate, their path is active. They are not satisfied with the reflection. They are on a quest to turn around and see the sun itself. The goal isn't just to be with the divine. The goal is to become one with the divine. And that brings us right back to where we started, to our central mystery. Now that we understand his diagnosis of the modern world and his proposed cure, this path of initiation, we can finally see how he applied it all to his own life. We can finally solve the paradox. If Guénon spent his life telling people to find an authentic, living tradition and to follow an initiatic path, which one did he find for himself? What was his secret door out of the modern world? The answer was Islam. More specifically, the esoteric heart of Islam, known as Sufism or Tasawwuf. He was initiated into the ancient and deeply respected Shadili Sufi order, and he even took on a new name, Abd al-Wahid Yahya, which means servant of the one, John. This was no casual conversion. This was a total all-in commitment. As one of his followers would later say, this was not some random choice he made on a whim. Guénon wasn't just pulling ideas out of thin air for his books. He deliberately plugged himself into an incredibly deep and powerful spiritual current. He was, as they put it, drawing from a very old, very deep well. And here it is. This is the solution to the paradox. His choice of Islam wasn't a contradiction of his universalism. For him, it was the absolute proof of it. Guénon's logic was that you can't just float above all the traditions and call yourself a universalist. That's easy, and it's meaningless. He believed that to have any hope of reaching the universal, you must commit to one specific, authentic, orthodox path. For him, Islam was the key he had to use to unlock that universal door. So, where does this road lead? What's the final destination of this whole initiatic journey? Well, to explain it, Guénon uses this incredibly powerful ancient symbol. I want you to picture a spinning wheel. Most of us, especially in modern life, are living way out on the rim, on the edge. It's just constant motion, right? Chaos, change, being pulled in a million different directions at once. The entire point of the spiritual path for Guénon is the journey from that chaotic rim to the still center, the hub. He called that still point in the center the invariable middle, a term he actually borrowed from Taoism. Think of it as the motionless axis of your own being. It's the one part of you that is totally untouched by all the external chaos spinning around you. Finding that center and learning to live from it, that is the ultimate goal. But where is this center? Where do you find it? This sacred text, a Hadith Qudsi from the Islamic tradition that Guénon quoted all the time, gives us the answer. God says that the infinite, a reality so vast that the heavens and the earth can't even contain it, can be found in one place, the heart of the believer. And for Guénon, the heart isn't just about emotion. It's the organ of pure intellect, of direct spiritual intuition. It's the hub of the wheel. It's our own personal gateway to the infinite. Guénon's entire body of work is this profound challenge to how we live today. He suggests that the most important journey we can ever take isn't outward, into the frantic world of quantity and motion, but inward, from the chaos of the rim to that quiet, powerful, still center within us. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. In a world that never, ever stops moving, what and where is your invariable middle?